Addressing dietary concerns for the calisthenics athlete or just athlete in general. Now, before we get into some of these things that we got to consider, we have to get clear on what a healthy diet's actually supposed to do before we start following any kind of rules. The way I've learned and look at it is diet is part of the recovery process in this whole thing. We have a stress-inducing stimulus, that's your workout, and then we have stress-reducing recovery methods, sleeping very good, taking stress out of your life, and that's part of diet. Diet is supposed to remove stress from body, mind, soul, everything else. And the better your diet is at removing stress, the better it helps with your recovery. Now, this is important to consider because a lot of the basic camps that people fall into, there's two ways of looking at how you're, quote, supposed to eat when you're an athlete, can be actually more stress-inducing than stress-reducing. In camp number one, we got the eat big to get big camp. These are the folks who say, eat a lot, don't worry too much about the food quality, although sometimes that comes along with it. And getting fatter is is a necessary evil to the process. So they're on one side. On the other side, you've got the, quote, eat right crowd. These are the folks who rely on restriction, maybe even to a point deprivation of various things in order to, quote, eat correctly. And a lot of times the necessary evil for this one are things like cravings, hunger, desires for various foods, and so on. Now, both of these things are on a spectrum. One, you've got go for it and go crazy. The other one, you've got to really restrict yourself. But the thing is, on both ends of this spectrum, we've got stress-inducing habits. So usually, like a lot of things in life, the best answer for you is somewhere in the middle. Now, I don't know where you fall on the spectrum. The more active you are and the more you need, the more you're probably towards this side where you have more leniency in the diet. You can get away with more carefree approaches. But more sedentary, more genetic differences that force you to have not quite as much leniency, maybe a little bit more over here. This is why I say having a healthy diet isn't about going to an ideal extreme. It's about trying to basically like hit a target. But here's the catch. Not only is this a target, it's a moving target. This can move on a daily basis. If you spend a day mountain biking, you have a different stimulus and different recovery period than if you're just sitting and watching Netflix all day. It can move on a daily basis and it can move throughout your life. Not only is it a moving target, it's a moving target only you can really see, because I don't know where you fall on this thing. Now, here's the trap that a lot of people fall into with this sort of deal, is they go back and forth between the two camps. So say, for example, you start off in the eat big, get big, and you're overeating all the time kind of idea. So you're starting to think, this isn't really for me. I feel slow and sluggish all the time. I got some body fat I'd like to lose. So you start cutting back, and you start learning about, okay, maybe eating a loaf of bread every day is not such a good idea. And you start reading more up on it, and it starts bringing you back to your target, closer to your target. And while you're doing this, you're looking better, you're feeling better, everything's going great. But we fall into the trap of, well, if more is good, then, if some is good, then more is always better. And we overshoot the target, and we go into the deprivation camp. Now, the opposite thing can happen as well. We're here, and we're thinking, I'm tired of being hungry and fighting cravings and binging all the time. I'm gonna have a little bit more looseness and carefree in my diet. And again, looking better, feeling better, performing better, everything gets better because we're getting closer to our target, and we overshoot it because, again, some is good, some more is always better, and we go over here. And in both sides of the camp, you've got tons of people saying, come on over here, this is the right way to do it. We've got science to back us up. We've got proof and various athletes that we're the ones doing it the right way and everything. And we keep swinging on this pendulum back and forth, which is very stress-inducing as well. Hardly anybody's in the middle because there's nothing fancy or sexy there. And plus, everybody's a little bit different on where that is on the spectrum. So to help you find this period right here, we need to adopt dietary habits that are more geared towards stress-reducing than stress-inducing. And here are some basic ideas to help you kind of get in this middle zone. These tips are part of a new free ebook that I'm going to be releasing at Red Delta Project in the next few weeks, all about building muscle with calisthenics. But here are some basic ideas. Number one is get a good solid 3 square meals a day. We do a lot of the snacky, supplementy kind of stuff. We need some good substance in order to maximize our satisfaction. Drink plenty of water. Okay? Minimize beverages that have a lot of caloric content to it. Alcohol, juices, sodas. Usually less of that is going to be better. Of course, exceptions occur. If you're in a marathon, you have your Gatorade in order to run in the heat, but use it on a case-by-case basis. Adjust your portions to satisfy hunger without overstuffing yourself. So eat enough, but don't eat too much, but do make sure you're getting enough that you're satisfied. Include plant-based foods at each meal, because there's a lot more to building muscle than just protein. We need a lot of vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, that sort of stuff that we get a lot with plant-based foods. Include some sort of protein at each meal. Okay? And again, all of this is adjustable depending on where you are on the scale. If you feel like you're not getting enough of something, well, experiment. Add in a little bit of extra protein or some plants and see if things get better for you. Listen to your hunger. That's a big one. The whole eat big, get big crowd and so forth. Like just force feed yourself all the time. Or the deprivation crowd. If you're hungry, just ignore it kind of thing. Always listen to your hunger. If you are getting hungrier because you're training harder or whatever, then eat more. I always tell people, I never build muscle because I'm eating more. I'm eating more because I'm building muscle. So sometimes I'll go through periods where, for whatever reason, I'm making some gains and my body's like, dude, give me more. Okay, have some peanut butter sandwich there. And like I said, eliminate or reduce alcohol, drugs, other forms of substance abuse. Remember, abuse is stressful. Any form of abuse, we want to minimize it as much as possible because the less stress you're going to have, the better your recovery is going to be, and the better your results are going to be from your training. So there are my thoughts. Questions down below, more videos here. Be fit, live free.